Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mrs. English Channel. I'm Anna, and I'm really happy you are here with us today.
And I'm Paul. It's great to have you with us again. We hope you are somewhere comfortable, maybe at home, on a bus, or taking a walk.
Today, we are going to spend some time together practicing real English for daily life, using simple conversations and useful expressions.
This episode is designed for B1 to B2 learners who want to understand natural English and feel more comfortable using it in everyday situations.
Before we begin, remember to subscribe to Mrs. English Channel if you enjoy learning English through calm and natural conversations.
And while you listen, don't worry if you do not understand every single word. Try to understand the main idea and follow the conversation naturally.
Exactly. Real English is not always about understanding every word. Sometimes understanding the situation is much more important.
So today, imagine that you are spending a normal day with us, and we will practice English for different moments that can happen in everyday life.
We might talk about getting ready in the morning, going to work, meeting friends, shopping, making plans, and relaxing at the end of the day.
These are simple situations, but they contain many useful expressions that you can actually use in real conversations.
Let's start with the morning because the way we begin our day can affect everything that comes after it.
I agree. My mornings are usually quiet, but they can become very busy if I wake up late.
I know that feeling. You open your eyes, look at the clock, and suddenly realize that you have only 20 minutes to get ready.
And then you start moving around the room like you are in a race.
Exactly. You brush your teeth quickly, look for your clothes, and wonder where you put your keys.
That is why I prefer waking up early. I like having enough time to start my morning without feeling stressed.
What does your normal morning look like, Paul?
I usually wake up around 7, open the curtains, drink some water, and spend a few quiet minutes before I start working.
That sounds peaceful. Do you check your phone immediately after waking up?
I used to do that, but I realized it was not a good habit. Now I try to stay away from my phone for the first 30 minutes.
That is actually a useful habit. When you check your phone immediately, your mind can become busy before your day even starts.
Exactly. I might see a message, read some news, or open social media, and suddenly I have 10 different things in my mind.
I sometimes do the same thing, especially when I tell myself, I'll just check one message.
And then one message becomes 5 messages, and 5 minutes becomes 30 minutes.
That sounds very familiar. So now, after you wake up, what do you usually do next?
I make breakfast. Nothing complicated, usually something simple like eggs, bread, fruit, and coffee.
Do you eat breakfast at home every day?
Most days, yes. I prefer eating at home because it saves money and gives me more control over what I eat.
I also like having breakfast at home, but sometimes I am too busy and just have something small.
What is your favorite quick breakfast?
Probably yogurt with fruit because it takes almost no time to prepare. I can make it while I'm thinking about my plans for the day.
That is convenient. Do you usually make a plan every morning?
Yes, but I try not to make a very long list. I choose 2 or 3 important things that I really want to finish.
That sounds better than having 10 tasks and feeling bad when you finish only half of them.
Exactly. I think daily life becomes easier when we focus on what is important instead of trying to do everything.
That is a useful expression, too. What is important? We can ask ourselves that question when we have too many things to do.
For example, you can say, "What is the most important thing I need to do today?"
Or, what should I finish first? Both questions are useful when you need to organize your day.
Let's imagine that breakfast is finished and we are ready to leave home.
Before I leave, I usually check 3 things: my phone, my wallet, and my keys.
That sounds like a good little routine.
Yes, because forgetting your keys can completely change your morning.
Definitely. Imagine reaching your car or the front door and suddenly realizing your keys are still on the table.
Then you have to go back, and now you are late.
This is why routines can be helpful. A simple routine saves you from making the same small decisions every day.
And when we repeat useful routines, they slowly become automatic.
Now let's talk about another common part of daily life, going to work or school.
For many people, the journey is the normal part of the day, but it can also be a great time to practice English.
Yes, you can listen to an English podcast while you are walking, driving, or sitting on public transportation.
You can also describe what you see around you in English.
For example, if you see a busy street, you can think, there are many people waiting for the bus.
Or, the traffic is heavier than usual this morning.
These sentences may seem simple, but they help your brain connect everyday experiences with English.
And that is one of the best ways to make English part of your daily life.
You do not always need a textbook or a classroom. Sometimes your own day can become your English lesson.
Exactly. If you are walking outside, look around and describe things in your mind.
If you are cooking, name the things you are using and explain what you are doing.
You can think, I'm cutting the vegetables, or the water is starting to boil.
You can say, I need to organize these books, or I should put these clothes away.
These small sentences may not feel like serious studying, but they create useful speaking habits.
And the more often you use English to describe your real life, the easier it becomes to find words when you actually speak with another person.
That is a very important point. English should not only live inside your notebook, it should become part of your everyday thoughts and actions.
Once you arrive at work or school, another important part of daily English begins, talking to other people.
Yes, and these short conversations are often more useful than learners realize because they happen again and again.
You might say, "Good morning, how are you?" or ask, "How was your weekend?"
These questions are simple, but they are very common in real conversations.
You can also ask someone, "How is your day going so far?"
That is a natural question when you want to know how someone is feeling during the day.
And the answer does not need to be complicated. You can simply say, "It's going well," or "It's been a little busy."
You can also say, I've had a busy morning, but things are getting better now.
Notice that these are natural sentences you can use in many different situations.
Another useful expression is so far, which means from the beginning of something until now.
For example, "So far, my day has been pretty good."
Or, so far I haven't had any problems.
These small expressions help your English sound more natural because they connect your ideas smoothly.
Now, imagine that you are at work and someone asks you to help with something.
You might say, "Sure, I'd be happy to help, if you have enough time."
Or if you are already busy, you can say, I'm a little busy right now, but I can help you later.
That is a useful way to say no without sounding rude.
You can also ask, when do you need it, before deciding whether you can help.
That question gives you more information and helps you manage your time.
Another important part of daily English is asking for clarification when you do not understand something.
Many learners feel nervous about asking someone to repeat themselves, but there's nothing wrong with doing that.
You can say, sorry, could you say that again?
Or, "Sorry, I didn't catch that."
I didn't catch that is especially useful in natural conversation when you did not hear something clearly.
You can also say, "Could you explain what you mean?"
These phrases are much better than staying silent and pretending that you understood everything.
Exactly. Good communication is not about understanding every word perfectly.
It is about making sure both people understand each other.
Now, let's imagine that the morning is finished and it's time for lunch.
Lunch is another situation where we often use simple but useful English.
Maybe a coworker asks, "Where are you going for lunch?"
You could answer, I'm thinking about getting something nearby.
Or you could say, "I brought lunch from home today."
If you want to invite someone, you can ask, Do you want to grab lunch together?
Grab lunch is a casual expression that means to go somewhere and have lunch.
You might also hear people say, do you want to grab a coffee later?
These expressions are useful because they sound friendly and natural in everyday conversations.
Now imagine that you decide to eat at a small restaurant.
The first thing you might ask is, do you have a table for two?
Then you look at the menu and decide what you want to order.
You can say, I'll have the chicken sandwich, please.
Or, could I get the vegetable soup and a glass of water?
If you're not sure what to choose, you can ask, what do you recommend?
That is one of the most useful questions in a restaurant.
The person serving you might say, our pasta is very popular today.
Then you can answer, that sounds good, I'll try that.
Notice how simple the conversation can be. You do not need difficult vocabulary to communicate well.
You just need a few useful phrases and enough confidence to use them.
After lunch, imagine that you have some free time before finishing work.
This can be a good moment to check your plans and decide what you need to do next.
Maybe you have an appointment later, or perhaps you need to go shopping after work.
Planning these small things in English can also become useful practice.
You can think, after work, I need to stop by the supermarket.
Stop by means to visit a place for a short time, usually while you are going somewhere else.
For example, I need to stop by the bank before I go home.
Or, I'll stop by my friend's house after work.
These everyday expressions are worth learning because native speakers use them naturally.
Another useful phrase is on my way, which means while traveling toward a place.
You might call your friend and say, I'm on my way home.
Or, I'm on my way to the supermarket. Do you need anything?
That second sentence is especially useful because it combines daily life with natural conversation.
Your friend might answer, yes, could you get some milk?
Sure, no problem. I'll pick some up.
Pick something up means to get or collect something, often while you are already going somewhere.
So you could say, I'll pick up some bread on my way home.
These phrases may seem small, but learning them helps you sound more comfortable and natural.
Now, let's imagine that you arrive at the supermarket after work.
You look at your shopping list and start walking through the different sections.
Maybe you need vegetables, fruit, bread, milk, and something for dinner.
If you cannot find something, you can ask an employee, excuse me, where can I find the rice?
They might answer, it's in aisle 5 next to the pasta.
Aisle is the word we use for the long space between shelves in a supermarket.
So you can say, the cereal is in the next aisle.
Or, I couldn't find the coffee, so I asked someone for help.
Shopping is actually a great opportunity to practice English because you can quietly describe what you are doing.
You can think, I need to compare these two products.
Or, this one is cheaper, but the other one looks better.
You can even make decisions in English by saying, I think I'll get this one.
That sentence is useful far beyond shopping because we make small decisions all day.
For example, I think I'll stay home tonight, or I think I'll take the bus today.
These are natural ways to express a decision without making the sentence too formal.
And after a busy day, sometimes the best decision is simply to slow down for a while.
Yes, daily life is not only about work, responsibilities, and getting things done. We also need time to relax, talk to people we care about, enjoy a meal, or simply sit quietly.
That evening period can also become a useful time for English practice.
You can describe your day by asking yourself simple questions like, what did I do today?
Then you can answer, I went to work, had lunch with a friend, and stopped by the supermarket.
You can also ask, what went well today?
Maybe you can say, I finished an important task, or I had a good conversation with a friend.
Another useful question is, what could I do better tomorrow?
You might answer, tomorrow I want to wake up earlier and spend less time on my phone.
This kind of simple self-talk helps you review your day while practicing real English.
And the best part is that the vocabulary comes from your own life, so it is easier to remember.
When English describes things that are meaningful to you, the language becomes more personal and much easier to use. After a long day, it can be helpful to slow down and think about how you spent your time.
Yes, because when we stop for a moment, we can notice what made the day good and what made it difficult.
You can ask yourself, what was the best part of my day?
Maybe the best part was having a good conversation, finishing an important task, or enjoying a quiet cup of coffee.
You can also ask, what was the most difficult part of my day?
Maybe you had a stressful meeting, a difficult problem, or simply too many things to do.
Talking about these experiences in English is excellent practice because you are using language that comes from your real life.
And you do not need to prepare a special topic. Your day already gives you many things to talk about.
For example, you can explain what happened in the morning, what you did at work, and what you plan to do tomorrow.
You can even practice talking about your feelings, which is an important part of everyday communication.
You might say, I felt tired this morning, but I feel much better now.
Or, I was nervous before the meeting, but everything went well.
You could also say, I was a little disappointed because my plans changed.
These sentences help you express more than simple facts because they tell people how an experience affected you.
Now imagine that a friend calls you in the evening and asks, how was your day?
You could simply say, it was pretty good. I had a busy morning, but the afternoon was more relaxed.
Your friend might then ask, what did you do after work?
You could answer, I went to the supermarket, made dinner, and then watched a movie.
This is a very normal conversation, but it gives you a chance to practice several useful past tense sentences.
You can also make the conversation more interesting by asking questions back.
For example, how about you? How was your day?
Or, did anything interesting happen today?
Asking questions is just as important as answering them because good conversations need both sides.
Exactly. If you only answer questions with 1 or 2 words, the conversation can end very quickly.
Instead of saying good, you can say, it was good. I had a lot of work, but I managed to finish everything.
That gives the other person something to respond to.
They might say, that's good. What kind of work were you doing?
Then you have another opportunity to explain something in English.
This is how natural conversations grow. One answer creates another question, and one question creates another answer.
You do not need to plan every sentence before you speak.
You just need to listen, understand the situation, and respond with what you know.
That is an important lesson for English learners who often worry about making mistakes.
Mistakes are normal, especially when you are speaking quickly or trying to express a new idea.
If you make a small mistake, you can simply continue the conversation instead of stopping completely.
You can even correct yourself naturally by saying, I mean, and then giving the correct word or sentence.
For example, I went there on Tuesday, I mean Wednesday.
That sounds completely natural because people correct themselves in everyday conversations all the time.
Another useful expression is, let me think, which gives you a moment to organize your thoughts.
You can say, let me think. I think I visited that place last year.
Or, let me think about that for a second.
These small phrases can make speaking easier because you do not need to answer immediately.
They give your brain a little extra time to find the words you need.
Now let's talk about making plans, because planning is another common part of daily life.
Maybe a friend asks, are you free this weekend?
You could answer, I think so. What do you have in mind?
Your friend might say, would you like to go somewhere for lunch?
Then you can say, sure, that sounds good. What time should we meet?
Or if you already have plans, you can say, I'm sorry, I already have plans on Saturday.
You could also offer another time by saying, how about Sunday instead?
That is a very useful expression when you want to suggest another option.
Another common phrase is, that works for me.
We use it when we agree with a suggested time or plan.
For example, your friend might say, how about meeting at 3?
And you can answer, 3 o'clock works for me.
If the time is not convenient, you can say, "I'm not available then. Could we meet a little later?"
These expressions are useful because they help you make plans without sounding too formal.
Sometimes, however, plans change.
Yes, and knowing how to talk about changes is another important daily life skill.
You might need to call your friend and say, "I'm sorry, but something came up."
Something came up means that an unexpected situation happened and changed your plans.
You could continue, "Can we meet tomorrow instead?"
Or, I'm running late, but I should be there in about 15 minutes.
"I'm running late" is another extremely useful phrase for everyday situations.
It means that you were delayed and will arrive later than planned.
For example, "Sorry, I'm running late because the traffic is terrible."
Your friend might answer, "No problem, take your time."
This kind of conversation happens all the time, so learning these phrases can make your English much more practical.
Now let's think about one more important situation, talking about the future.
You might talk about tomorrow, next week, or even your plans for the next few months.
You can say, "I'm planning to visit my family next month."
Or, "I'm thinking about taking an English course this year."
You can also say, "I'd like to travel somewhere new next summer."
Notice that "I'm planning to," "I'm thinking about," and "I'd like to" are useful ways to talk about future ideas.
They also allow you to express different levels of certainty.
"I'm planning to" usually sounds like you have a clear intention.
"I'm thinking about" sounds less certain because you are still considering the idea.
And "I'd like to" simply tells people something you want to do.
These small differences can help you express yourself more clearly.
Let's take a moment to review some of the expressions we practiced today.
First, we talked about, "How is your day going?" which is a natural way to ask someone about their day.
Then we learned "I didn't catch that," which you can use when you did not hear or understand something.
We also practiced grab lunch and grab a coffee, which are casual ways to talk about having food or a drink together.
We learned stop by, which means to visit a place briefly while you are going somewhere.
Then we talked about on my way, which is useful when you are traveling toward a place.
We also practiced pick something up, which means to get or collect something.
And we learned that works for me, which is a natural way to agree with a suggested plan or time.
Finally, we talked about "I'm running late," which is useful when you are delayed.
These expressions may look small, but small expressions are often what make everyday English sound natural.
So here is a simple challenge for you. Think about your normal day and describe it in English from morning until night.
You can start with, "I usually wake up at," and then explain what you do after that.
Talk about your breakfast, your work, your studies, your transportation, your lunch, your shopping, and your evening.
You can also explain how you feel during different parts of the day.
Try saying, "I usually feel energetic in the morning, but I get tired in the afternoon."
Then add a few future sentences, such as, "Tomorrow I'm planning to," or "This weekend I'd like to."
Do not worry about making your sentences perfect.
The goal is to communicate your ideas clearly and become more comfortable using English.
If you practice this for just 10 minutes every day, you can gradually build a strong connection between English and your real life.
And when English becomes part of your daily routine, speaking can start to feel less like a school exercise and more like normal communication.
You can practice while making breakfast, walking outside, cleaning your room, shopping, or preparing for bed.
You can describe what you see, explain what you are doing, talk about what happened, and think about what you will do next.
The important thing is to keep using English regularly, even when the practice is short.
10 focused minutes every day can be more useful than one long study session that you only do once a month.
So today, choose one ordinary part of your day and turn it into English practice.
Maybe start with your morning routine because it happens every day and gives you many familiar words and sentences.
Then, slowly add other situations like work, shopping, making plans, talking with friends, and describing your feelings.
Before we finish, remember that you do not need a perfect English life to practice English.
Your real life is already enough. The things you do every day can become your vocabulary, your examples, and your speaking practice.
And if you make mistakes, keep going. Every mistake gives you another chance to notice, learn, and improve.
If this episode helped you, write a sentence in the comments about your daily routine in English.
You can start with, "My day usually begins with," and continue with a few sentences about your normal life.
We would love to read your sentences and see how you are using English in your everyday life.
And if you enjoyed practicing with us, remember to like the episode, subscribe to Mrs. English channel, and keep practicing with us.
Most importantly, make English a small part of your day, because regular practice can slowly turn simple knowledge into real confidence.
Keep listening, keep speaking, keep learning, and remember that every ordinary day can give you another chance to use English.